Morning Mood, composed in 1875 by Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg, has a lightness to it that can't help but bring a warm smile to your face. And as the sun rises in the Sacramento sky, people waking up in the neighborhood that surrounds William Land Park experience just that, as do the hundreds of daily visitors who come to the 166-acre park. And can you blame them? It's wide open and welcoming to tourists and locals alike. Fresh air and beautiful serenity, and it's all right here in your backyard. I'm Taylor McMahon. I used to be a cook, I used to be a backpacking guide, and I've been living in Sacramento for 13 years. I know it well. Now, I have a new mission, to explore even more. Today, we're in the Land Park neighborhood, only 3 miles from the center of downtown Sacramento. The park for which the neighborhood is named boasts a golf course, baseball and soccer fields, an amphitheater, and 23 picnic areas. It's a place where any given day you can find people playing golf or walking their dogs, artists and musicians using the soothing atmosphere to practice their craft, and families attending birthday parties or Little League games, or best of all, sitting near the pond and feeding the ducks.
It's a great setup. You got the golf course, a lot of green, a lot of trees.
It's these features that attract Carrie White.
And of course the trees. Nice natural shade.
Today, her daughter Leah turns 4, and she brings with her the same party supplies that families have been bringing to the park for years.
It hasn't really changed much.
No?
No, I think it's, everything looks the same. You know, the same families still come. They use it for the same type of recreation.
So in the past 20 years, it's kind of been a little untouched, and you've seen the kind of the same activities since then.
Yes, which is why I like to come here. They did a great job planning this. I don't know how many years ago.
It was in the 1920s when Sacramento voters elected to put the proposed park in the swampy farmland that used to be known as Sutterville. And for the next 20 years, expensive homes were built along wide and curving streets surrounding the new park, which was named for Sacramento's 22nd mayor, William Land. By the late 1930s, McClatchy High School was built, and the area just south of Sacramento City proper had a thriving community. New restaurants and businesses started popping up along Freeport and Riverside Boulevard, and a young guy named Russ Solomon started selling records out of his dad's Tower Mart in 1960. Ah, what it would have been like to grow up during those times. I imagine picking up a can of hair grease in the new Chubby Checker album at Russ's drugstore. Then I'd twist on over to the nearest soda fountain to check out the dames in their poodle skirts. Or maybe I've just seen too many movies. But these soda fountains do exist. There's one still on Riverside Boulevard, complete in its original glory. The place is packed as usual, but I don't see any poodle skirts. What gives? Vic's opened in 1947 and has a long list of loyal regulars. Vic isn't there anymore, but he passed the Land Park institution down to his family, and they keep it simple. Sandwiches with a side of potato chips and ice cream. The smooth, sweet, creamy delight that the establishment is known for.
We're talking about ice cream cones or hot fudge sundaes. That's why people come here. That's why we came here.
But that isn't the only reason why.
It's our anniversary.
Yeah.
You're kidding!
So we're doing this for a day of outings. Stopping here for lunch, going down to the Delta for dinner.
I have to say, I'm envious. I almost want to join them, but I haven't tasted the food here yet. I'm Irish, so I get the corned beef on rye. It's tasty, but when it comes to the cookies and cream malt, there's no comparison. Thick and rich, just the way a malt should be.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's
good.
I scoop down the last of my malt and meet up with my friend, John Hutchinson. John, or Hutch, moved to Land Park in the 90s and runs the Red Rocket Auto Tech on Broadway. Now, I'm the kind of person who takes my car to the shop when I have a headlight that needs replacing, and Hutch is my guru for all things car-related. Today, he gets to be my Land Park expert too. And what does he have for me? A 1966 Mercedes 220 sedan, on loan from the California Auto Museum, which is located just outside of Land Park. To further immerse myself into my 1960s fantasy, I climb behind the wheel and take the street tour of Land Park, with Hutch as my tour guide.
I came to Land Park in '97, and the reason that I was interested in it was because of its proximity to downtown, which is the government and the business district. Where I was before was out in the suburbs, so the commute was brutal. You know, half an hour in one direction, and it's even worse now.
I'd actually go that way to the right. Were you working downtown at the time?
Yeah, and so the commute was bad, and I knew it was only going to get worse. So being able to get closer was going to be positive for the lifestyle, so I wouldn't be crazier than I already am.
What surprised you? Anything you noticed that maybe you weren't expecting, or maybe that you were hoping for? That
I actually was surprised on how much I like it. I thought the convenience was good, but I honestly didn't think I would like it that well. Almost everything we do as a family is within walking distance or an easy little bike ride. And that is a very nice lifestyle change that is not only super healthy, but enjoyable.
Yeah, walking and biking would be easier if I wasn't behind the wheel of this classic symbol of 1960s luxury. I could drive for the rest of the day, but the car needs to get back to the museum, and I'm getting hungry again. But before we eat, I have to stop at one more land park institution, Taylor's Market. You'll recognize the sign if you've ever made that curve from 19th Street onto Freeport Boulevard. And even if you haven't, if you live in Sacramento, you've probably heard of this place. An early adopter of the farm-to-fork philosophy, Taylor's is proud of their 53 glorious years of whole animal butchering. And behind the block almost every morning is owner Danny Johnson, who keeps the counter full of locally raised meats and fish. All of his produce is fresh and organic, some of which is even grown and harvested from Danny's family farm. Danny also stocks beer and cheeses that you won't see at other corporate grocery stores. When you walk in, you can smell the freshness, and it just feels good being here. Plus, the name is pretty cool too. Taylor's. Just sounds nice. Normally, I'd load up my basket, but tonight I don't need to, because Hutch and I are having dinner down the street at Dad's Kitchen.
Here, I got you because you like the burgers.
yes, please.
Dad's Burger.
You must have known that I was the burger
I'm
guy.
the chicken guy.
For me, the Dad's Burger.
It's all grass-fed. Even if it's medium well to well done, it still has a nice color to it.
But if you're trying a place for the first time, always go for the dish that's named after the restaurant. No substitutions and no exclusions, and always trust your chef. Because to him, your food is a work of art, even if it is a 12-ounce hamburger.
And this is the one that was on the Food Network.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people take at least half of it home.
And I think I'll do the same. For Hutch, the spicy chicken sandwich, with house-made ranch and buffalo sauce, onion rings, and pepper jack cheese.
It really does. I don't often get like fried chicken sandwiches. This is awesome.
Awesome it is. Salads, vegetarian sandwiches, and even pastas. Dad's Kitchen keeps Chef Ricky busy. And if there happens to be a wait, there's craft beer on tap, and nothing is more inviting than the flashing lights and noises of an old-school pinball machine.
Dad kind of a disciplinarian?
Not really.
No?
We get to goof around a lot, which
It's
gets
kind
us
of like
in
my
trouble.
dad, so I had flashbacks.
My dad too. I still have the stripe across my ass from him. He didn't cook like this, that's for sure.
Okay, half of that is true. But one thing he did teach me is if you have the opportunity to have a good beer, take it. And from across the bar, I see the name of my favorite band up on the chalkboard, Incubus. Of course, it also happens to be the strongest beer on the menu.
I mean, this is a fantastic burger, but I think really the 12% whiskey beer that tops it off.
With the touch
With
of
a golden
gold on the
rim,
top.
just for us.
Keeping it classy.
When we come back, I'm not the only one that's hungry,
You're welcome.
and I move on to another neighborhood.